Today's headline is King of Pork and Lard. Sketch of Philip Armour, the noted Chicago pig killer. The subheadline says, the vast extent of his business, everybody kept at work in his office, traits and habits, a novelty in human nature. This article originally came from the Chicago Herald. It says, Armour is a butcher, but he is a big one. On his payroll are 5,000 names. He has sold this year $60 million worth of food products. He has agents all over the world, to whom telegrams are sent every morning, giving the day's quotations, and from whom statements of business are received every night. The products of his great factories reach every cook and cranny of the inhabited earth. In his office on LaSalle Street are 130 clerks, 100 of whom are constantly busy making out bills. At his desk in the midst of these clerks sits the millionaire packer. At his left are his stenographers and telegraph operators. Around him, within view, are his clerks. There are no partitions, no closets. There's not even an anteroom. Everybody busy at work. The boss works with his men. Every morning at 5, he's out of bed. At 6, he breakfasts. And at 7, he steps from his carriage in front of the office palace and goes immediately to his desk. There he remains until 6 in the evening. Clerks and bookkeepers going from streetcar or railway train to their work look through the big window and see him already at his day's labor. At night when they go home, they look up and find him still there. At 6:30 he reaches home, dines, and is in bed by 9. This has been his habit for many years. Work is his life and pleasure. He's quick but not hurried, decisive but not brusque. Between transactions, each involving a fortune, he can pause for a joke or a word of pleasantry. Neither his millions nor his cares seem to age him. He's light-hearted, almost boyish, and invariably smiles when he thinks of St. Paul, and calls it a dandy or a daisy. This man is a novelty in human nature, and that he can make $1 million a month and laugh about it. He likes to be called a butcher, and insists that he's only a pig killer. He greets his country friends with a good-natured, "How's hogs down your way?" And sometimes his eye twinkles as he tells inquisitive newspapermen that he doesn't know anything about it. I'm killing my hogs today, and haven't time to think about anything else. On his desk, there's always a huge bouquet of fresh flowers, set in the pointed horn of an ox. Besides this horn is placed every morning a little ticket showing the bank balance, and there are always 5 figures, and sometimes the initial numeral is a 2 or a 3. Adorning the walls are sets of broadhorns, and the ugly heads of pigs. Upon the marble floor nearby are samples of the packed meats he has to sell, and specimens of scoop shovels, knives, and nose rings which somebody wants him to buy. Armour is neither proud of his millions nor ashamed of his stickery. Personal appearance and traits. Armour is of medium height and heavy but not fat. His face is full and round without flabbiness. He speaks rapidly and makes constant use of favorite expressions. His age is 50, but he's a stranger to illness. In manner, he's common and kindly. He doesn't know what style is. He lives in a plain house on Prairie Avenue and keeps fewer horses and servants than many men whose fortunes are not equal to his monthly income. He's a master of the details of his business. He knows how every book is kept in his great office, the detail of every report from agencies, the signification of every figure in the monthly statement from the packing house, the minutiae of every process in the manufacture and shipment. His wealth is estimated by a gentleman quite familiar with his affairs at from $15 million to $18 million. It's mainly in cash or securities. He's not a large holder of real estate, and it's said he could, in an emergency, realize more cash in 24 hours' notice than any other man in America, perhaps excepting one. He has no debt or fictitious assets. Each of the great buildings at the stockyards and all kindred improvements are charged to profit and loss. He has 2 sons, one at school, and the other, Ogden, was admitted to the firm a year ago. Ogden is sensible and industrious. After leaving school, he spent several years learning the business, working in the packing house, keeping books in the office, and selling pork and beef on the road. No man could be closer in a trade than Armour. He knows the value of 1/16 of a cent multiplied by hundreds of thousands again and again. But where closeness is manifestly improper, he is large and dashing. This story came from the great state of Montana. Being reported, and the New Northwest of January 15th, 1886. Thank you for joining us today. If you want to continue to uncover all of America's lost and forgotten history, then remember before you leave to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and remember to like and comment below. And we will see you next time on Americana Archives.